Hi everybody, in this video I'm going to go over our floors real quick, and then I'm going to start setting up our elevations for our affordable house. So here I'm on my first floor. This is my 3D view. I just have 4 simple walls. If I go back to my first floor, first thing I want to do is I want to change my detail level, if you haven't already, to fine. So on the bottom left corner down here, on coarse is probably maybe your default. We want to change it to fine. So it's right next to the scale. We go fine detail. That's good. So now if you zoom in, you can kind of get these 5 different levels. So these levels are going to be your stud, they're going to be your wood siding. So that's good. Now I'm going to go to architecture tab. I'm already on it. I'm going to go to floor. For my floor, it might already be selected for you. I want to do wood joist 10-inch wood finish. That's great. And then I also want to change this to my rectangle up here in kind of my drawing tool. I'm going to zoom in on my corner here, select that. I'm going to zoom in on my opposite corner and select that. So that's great so far. Next thing we want to do, remember we did this on the shed. We want to move this into the third line here on the interior side of the stud. So if you move your line over, it'll kind of snap there for you onto your side. So we're just going to move it there. And this is a good example. If you don't get right on the line, you can use your arrows a little bit to then actually get onto the line. I think this one's off a little bit. Yeah. So if you use your arrows, they'll help you get onto the line there. So let's zoom out. Let's do the other side. So here, if I drag, it'll snap for me. Great. And then this side, it'll snap for me. That's great. I think this last one was a little messed up. Let me zoom out. Here we go. So I'm just going to take it out, zoom out a little bit. There we go. Snap for me. Great. Zoom out all the way. I'm going to hit finish. If we go back to 3D, there we go. There's our floor. Now what I'm going to recommend, we're going to go to edit type here, and then we're going to go structure, edit again. I'm going to delete my finish here, my wood floor. In class, we'll talk about this if we want to add it back. For the most part right now, we're just going to go ahead and delete that. Then we can hit OK, apply, OK. We're good to go. That's the first step kind of we're doing in this video. The next thing, this comes into play about actually setting up our elevations. So as you can see, this is my kind of finished example. Sure, let's save. Right here, this is my finished example that I'll be showcasing in class. It has our foundation in and everything. But how do we get there? So going back to our floor plan and our 3D on our demo here, I'm going to go to north. It really doesn't matter what elevation you go to. They're all going to be linked. But for this one, I'm going to go to north. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a new level. We need 1. So for my level, I'm going to go to, for my new kind of level here, I'm going to go to architecture, go to level. I'm going to click here at the end, drag it over here, and then place. So you can see that Revit's liking the snaps here, so it's going to align everything. That's great. I'm going to click. Now we have a level 8. Over here on our floor plans, you can see I have level 8 selected in that project browser. That's fine. We're going to rename it right now. I'm going to rename this to ground, I believe. If this comes up, yes, we want to rename all corresponding pieces. Hit yes. And then now, over on your project browser, level 8 was changed to ground. Just let me double check that. Yes, we want it to be ground. Okay. So from here, you can see that we have our floor, we have our ceiling. That's cool. For now, I'm just going to change my first floor. I'll change it to 2 feet. This numbers will change. Next one, ceiling. I'm just going to change it to, let's say, 12 because we want 8. Actually, we want it on 10 because we want 8-foot ceilings or 8-foot walls as well. So 10 minus 2, 8. Next thing, we don't want a basement. For our specific house here, we want a crawl space. And it's going to be a 4-foot crawl space. Name corresponding, yes. All right, there we go. So now our first floor is on 2. That's okay for now. Ceiling's 10. Roof, we'll change it later. Foundation. Normally your foundation will stick out about 8 inches from the ground. So we're going to go 0 space 8. So my foundation is 8 inches above ground. Ground is going to be at 0. So just type in that 0. Now, this will happen to everyone's file here. these are going to get clumped. Our first floor, foundation, and ground. So first floor we're going to keep here. Let me do ground first. So when you click on your ground, you click on that, it goes blue. You get this little like little zigzag in here. What this does, it's the elbow feature. So it allows you to actually bring this down. So once you check that box, you can then adjust the view of it and kind of the angle everything is at. So if I move this line over, it'll move the whole diagonal here. If I move this one, you can move it vertically. So yes, this is still at 0, but it's just sloped down a little bit. This definitely looks like a lot, so I'm going to move this up a little bit right there. Same thing for my foundation. I'm going to hit my zigzag, and then I'm going to move my foundation just like that. Now, this definitely looks a lot better to see, and when we print these out on the B-size paper, it'll look better in the long run. Next one I'm going to do is my crawl space. So like I said, we want a 4-foot crawl space. So I'm going to go -4, enter. And if we zoom out, there we go. That's good. I'm going to change my top of footing, and we'll talk about this when we do foundation in class. I'm going to change this to -4, 9. And then bottom of footing, our footing's 1 foot. So I'm going to go -5, 9. Let me just double check my numbers here on the side. And yeah, this is what we want. So right here, this is going to be prepping us for our foundation to come. These numbers will change, but I'll do that in a following video. So for now, as long as your values look like this and you added that ground level, you're all good to go. And of course, let me save so we don't lose any of that work.